Well, we are live. Welcome back to the James McGee Show. I am your host. I am James McGee, and this is McLooney Live.
Hi, I'm Deirdre Looney.
I'm Nadine Askey.
So we have Nadine Askey with us. She is the co-founder of Foxhole Foundation. And we're going to just jump into it, ladies. If that's good with y'all, let's just jump into it. Let's talk about, Nadine, tell us what Foxhole Foundation is, what work y'all have been doing in North Carolina.
Okay. First, if you don't mind, I'd like to explain how Jeff and I met.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, Jeff is the founder of Foxhole. So a couple of years ago, we actually met on a Telegram chat channel. I was always talking about ivermectin to anybody who was unhealthy, and he saw one of my comments. And so he reached out to me, and I gave him a whole lot of information, tried to help him with that. And then we just stayed in contact. Then he invited me into his private Telegram channel called the Foxhole. And I was in that for probably 2 years now. And we just continued a friendship. Last November of 23, we finally met in person for the first time. And ever since then, I mean, it's just been a snowball from there. He's like a brother to me. I love him and his wife to death. And he's 21 years, Master Sergeant from the Air Force, retired. And he may be retired from the military, but he is not retired from this country. He serves every day, almost every hour that he is awake. So he's constantly working to help people. So I just want, people to understand the kind of people that you're dealing with our foundation. So when this hurricane hit, he and his wife and their dogs went down to scout for an area to start helping. He landed in Beulah, North Carolina. So I also had an urge, there's like a very hard pull to go down and do something to help. So I decided that I was just going to ask for donations from people that I know. I ended up with over 2 full truckloads of items, probably at least $20,000 worth of stuff, and probably around $3,000 in cash in 1 week. So my plan was I didn't really have a plan. I was just literally going to drive down in the truck to Asheville and just figure it out along the way, sleep in my truck, and come home. But with what Jeff was doing and him finding an area, that's where I ended up going. So I stayed with him for, I think it was 5 days. And what got me started was, one, seeing the devastation down there. People can't fathom it, okay? The news is not showing you and telling you, and pictures will not describe it, okay? So anybody who thinks that it's not that bad, you have to see it with your own eyes. You're not going to fully understand in a picture or a video. But there was a family that I unfortunately didn't get a chance to meet while I was there, but their story hit my heart, and I didn't want to just stop doing what I was doing. So I wanted to adopt this family. They were the Whitsons. They have a little country store. The mother is 96 or 97. She's in a wheelchair, has dementia. There's 2 sons, I believe 2 daughters maybe. But some of them were living in her upstairs because her whole downstairs was destroyed. So so where my pull was for that family was knowing that, one, this is a generational family. It's a historical site. So her house was built in 1895. The store was built in 1927. It was a means for the community because they sold furniture and tools and food. It was just an all-around thing for the community. So I really felt like that would be a good starting point to try and get them up and running again for multiple reasons. So the night before I left, I still had almost $1,200 in cash. So I gave that to Jeff and his wife, and I designated it for that family. And so Jeff came up with the idea a couple days later, I think it was, and said, "What do you think about starting a foundation?" And so I was on board immediately. So that's how we got started. It started with just neither one of us wanting to stop what we were doing.
Mhm.
We're not a drop and go kind of a person, so our organization is not a drop and go, so even the people that we have helped so far, we're keeping tabs on them. We have their phone numbers, we have their addresses, we have contacts with the fire department chief to keep contacts open. So we're really kind of embedding ourselves in their community so we can get to know the people better and get to know what their needs are and try to follow up. And if they still need more things, to try to help them with that.
Okay. So, what kind of services are y'all providing? Are you just giving them money? Or are you arranging housing? Are you arranging debris removal? What are the kind of things that, if somebody's giving money to y'all, what kind of help are you giving people? What I like so far is what my biggest gripe with any organization is bureaucracy.
Yeah.
And y'all have no bureaucracy.
Nope.
And I really like
Yeah.
that. So
yeah. No, we deal directly with the people.
Mhm.
Period. We don't deal with all that other crap. There's no red tape here. If you
And I think
contact
people
us
like
and
that.
if you need help, if we have the funds, we're going to help you.
Mhm.
That's our goal, and that's why I stress so much to people. We can't succeed if you don't help us.
Mhm.
We can't help people if you don't help us help them. So I understand a lot of times, people are struggling, outside the hurricane, people are struggling in life, just due to everything. But I've heard so many excuses, and I almost feel like a broken record because I say this all the time. There are no excuses to not help these people. I don't care if you are one of the poorest people on the planet. Okay. You can reach out in multiple ways that is free. You can use your own resources to people that you know and ask the people that you know that may be better off financially and say, "Hey, I want to help these people. Let's help these people together," and ask for donations. Okay. So there's really no excuse. I feel like, the excuses have to stop, that people need to start putting themselves in these people's shoes and say to yourself, what would you want if you were in their shoes? If you look around what you have right now, look around wherever you are. If you're listening to me now, look around. Now imagine, close your eyes, imagine opening your eyes up and it's gone. It's gone. You have nothing. So what do? Are you prepared for that? Do you have a plan B for that? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to eat? Where are you going to sleep? You got children? How are you going to fend for your children? Right? So people don't want to think about those things. So that's where, when we find out these stories, we are a story to story situation. So, our logo says disaster relief and veteran aid, so I explained, well, what is a disaster? A disaster is not just a natural disaster. Okay. A disaster can mean many things in one's life. And so we want to be a foundation that takes each person's situation to basically work around them, what their needs are, So right now we're focused on North Carolina because that's where it's needed the most right now, and so our goal is to get the funds. We need campers like crazy. There's people out there freezing to death. So we have to, get these people in shelter. So that's a big goal of ours. We have a camper coming from South Georgia this week. And I think either this week or next week, I can't remember the schedule. We have one coming from Wyoming. So they're doing a train, to get this camper from point A to point B. And along the way, they're having people go so far with it, until it gets down to North Carolina. So, if somebody needs a driveway open still, we'll do the work. We'll get people there. We need volunteers. If anybody, we have on our website a place where you can sign up if you want to be a volunteer. Everybody's got different skill sets, so we can place them in different areas of need. We have some other contacts down there where if we don't have a specific place to put you, then we can reach out to somebody else that we know down there and they can say, oh yeah, we can use them here. So, we're doing as much as we can to understand the community's needs and get involved with pastors and the fire chief, people who are part of their own community and wants to see their community thrive again.
So what would you say is the biggest needs if somebody's listening right now, like, okay, I want to help? Money, manpower, or D, all the above? What are we looking at?
So I would say right now, the most important is campers because we need shelter for these people.
Okay.
Secondly would be money because if we don't have campers, we can at least afford then to put them in a motel.
And y'all have been putting people in motels.
We just got one in, and that'll be a subject that Deirdre can talk about because it was not easy to get her in a motel.
Yeah, her and I've talked a little bit about it. And when you sign off, I know you're an hour ahead of us. When you sign off in a little bit, we're going to dig more into that, and Deirdre can come back and tell us, tell our listeners the experiences she's had and the problems, that she's seen. But what I really wanted, I'm glad that you came on, is, like I said, if people are listening right now, what can they do? If they was like, hey, I want to do something, what do you really need? Campers, money?
Campers and money. Beyond that, what we are looking for is if somebody has a piece of land that they can donate to our foundation so we can work out of. We need a spot where we can have a work trailer. If volunteers come down, we have somewhere because they can't sleep in tents. We have to have a place to operate out of. So
and that would be in what area?
There's my notes. Marion, North Carolina, I think is where he said is like the best kind of central area.
That's where Tiffany was.
Yeah. So in that area, he's looking for at least 3 acres of flat usable land, preferably with utilities already on it. If possible, if there's any outbuildings already on it, that would be great as well for storage and things like that. Looking ahead from that, we will need heavy equipment because we're going to need to start cleaning up and then rebuilding.
And when would that be?
Well, first we need to get through the winter. So our plan right now is focusing on getting people off the streets. So we're not losing life. So that's our main focus. But leading up to that, spring isn't that far away, a few months away. So, if we can start getting things built up and people can start donating to us now, we have a piece of land where we could put things, that's going to help us for the spring, because we don't want to waste time when the weather starts getting good, so if we can get all of those kinds of things on a roll now to be ready for spring, then we can hit the dirt running.
Because, I told you off camera that, I've been through several of these. So it comes in phases. Right now you're and this is really sad that you're really still almost in the rescue stage still.
Yes.
And this is 3 months, right?
Yeah, close to it, I think.
Yeah.
You lose track of time.
You're still pretty much rescuing people. If they don't have shelter, that's still rescuing people.
Yes.
Because you're going to go into phases and you have the debris removal. Then you're going to have people that have to have their current places demoed.
Right.
And none of that is cheap. And,
No.
and a lot of people are not going to have the resources. And a lot of people, from what I'm hearing, either didn't have insurance or was underinsured. And that's a big problem.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
have a lot of information on that actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did a TikTok live, and there's an insurance agent on there, and she was giving me some information. So a lot of people were insured. They did not have flood insurance, so it's not covered. And they don't cover, they may cover mudslides, but they do not cover landslides. So with them telling everyone that there's thousands of landslides, they're not covering people because it was an act of God. And the actual land has been unearthed.
Yeah. There's so many areas that's down to bedrock. People have lost their yards. The first house that I went to, 10 feet of her entire property line in the back of her house was gone.
So just in the last 2 or 3 minutes, we've doubled our viewers. So let's recap. So people that weren't on, let's recap. What do you need, Nadine?
So we need campers first and foremost to get people out of the streets into a warm bed so they can stay alive. You know, it's crucial. And we need money for to get these people off the street, at least into a motel until maybe a camper comes along. So those are the top 2 things that's
the immediate.
desperately needed.
That's what you would need right
That's
now.
immediate. Yes.
In a couple of months, you may need, somebody like me that has heavy equipment.
Right.
That would be, when it gets a little bit
Yes.
less snow and ice.
Yes. Yeah.
And the
But
people
first
in
and foremost,
hotels, they've
save
also
lives.
been buying them meals too. So
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
She's been ordering meals for this, lady and her son. And, like I said, we go person to person, what is needed. There's no limit. It's like, if this person needs socks, then we're going to buy them socks. I mean, it's like, we're not like, oh, we don't buy socks. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter.
and see, that's what happens when you grow. And I hope that, y'all stay this way, even when y'all grow, because I think y'all will. Y'all stay that, because look at some of these big organizations, you can't get anything from them. The
No.
bureaucracy is there. So Foxhole doesn't have a bunch of people on big payroll, doesn't have people drawing salaries.
No, none of us are.
Yeah. So, but I want people to understand,
Yeah.
when you give to Foxhole, you're giving to
You're
somebody,
giving to the
from your
people.
hand to there, straight
Yeah.
to them. Now, y'all have
Straight to them.
expenses, and y'all should be covering some of the things that y'all are doing, but
We haven't up to this point. It's coming out of our pockets.
and that's it. That would be, people understand that, but what people don't understand is when, so that's, I was going to ask you, what separates y'all from, if they have, so if somebody has $500 to give, why should they give to Foxhole instead of one of these other organizations? What makes y'all different? And I think you've already said.
Because if they give us $500, the little 3% that comes out when you donate, that's their fees. We can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
I hate seeing them go out, but they do.
That's
So
just
whatever's
how it is.
left of that, it's literally going into the people's hands in one way, shape, or form. It is not going into ours.
Well, that's why I'm going to choose to give y'all my money.
We appreciate it.
That's the kind of giving that I like to do.
Yeah.
I want to do direct giving. I
Yeah.
don't want to just do blind, and I do, but I want to know. That's why what are y'all's needs?
Yeah.
Where's it going to go? What's the money used for?
Yeah. And we're very transparent. We have a Facebook page that anybody can follow us. We ask that you follow us. We ask that you please share our page to get more followers, because the more people that know about us, the more people that can help. So we post everything. Deirdre's amazing. She's been, doing little videos for us to put on there. We still have yet, I think, to post a lot of the stuff that we did last weekend. We had our Christmas giveaway. We raised enough up to that point, $13,600 we gave away to 17 families. We gave $800 per family for 17 families. Okay. And so we hand delivered most of them. Some of them weren't home. So we left like money with the fire chief. And then we got a picture of the man who picked it up. He fanned out his money and, sent us a picture. But it got in their hands. And when you're asking, like, if you donate $500, where's it going to go? I have the perfect example of that. So, my friend, Jeff and I had to go, into Kingsport, Tennessee, since we were actually physically together, so we can open up our bank account for the foundation. And so we got that finally figured out and done. And my friend lives really close to there. So we met her and her husband for lunch. Well, they gave us $500 in cash as a donation. And then she ended up coming back with us for the night. And then I took her back the next day while I was coming back home to Pennsylvania. So on our way back, we stopped to talk to the fire chief in Double Island. While we were there talking to him, he had 2 elderly women that were in dire need of fuel money and stuff for heat and things. The $500 came out of his pocket and went right onto his desk. So it was immediate.
Yeah.
That was all the money we had.
Yeah, and then that's what people that I know, that's what they like.
Yeah.
So if I
that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I want to, if y'all can see this, this is one of my favorite videos. I love this video so much.
Your background's kind of interfering.
Are you serious? Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Oh, that's Jordan.
So much. That's a
Hard to see. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. She's one of the sweetest young mamas. And when I was down in Bulletin the first time, she just touched my heart. And I was trying to help her. It was like 5 minutes before Bulletin Center was closing, and she needed supplies for her. She has a 3-year-old and a baby boy. And so I was trying to hurry up and help her get diapers and baby wipes, things for her daughter. And so her son needed a special kind of formula, and we didn't have it. And so I asked her for her name. I told her, I had several days left while I was there, and every church we went to, I looked for this formula. It's called Pure Amino. And so she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. She goes, it's so expensive. You probably won't find it. $60 a can, And so I told her, I said, if I can't find it, I'm going to give it to you. Like I'm going to get you formula. And so we couldn't find it anywhere. Every place we went, I looked for it and couldn't find it. So what I did was, while I was still down there, I got on Amazon and I ordered her 4 cans so she could get those right away. 2 days later, I still had money. I ordered her 4 more cans. So they happened to be delivered on the same day. So she got 8 cans of formula on that day, of delivery. So that's the kind of thing we're going to do,
Wait. This is another really good one.
Now listen, we got you all unloaded. We got you some, right here at the base. We got you some propane, okay?
Thank you.
We want y'all to have a Merry Christmas. Make sure Ayla has a Merry Christmas, all right? God bless you. We love you, all right? God bless you. Y'all hang in there. Have a good Christmas, okay? All right, hon. See ya.
It's another
That
one of
is what
our,
these people do.
yes, that's another one of our angels, Evan. He came up from Georgia to Bulletin, and he brought up his smoker, provided all the food, and made 1,000 meals to give out.
Unreal.
So
that brings
that's
up
what our
something.
team is.
None of y'all are from there, so let's clear that up.
No.
None of y'all are from the North Carolina. You don't have to say where you're from, but you're not close.
No. As a matter of fact, when we were there for the Christmas giveaway, I'll tell you all the states we all came from. So there was New York, Pennsylvania, Alabama, Texas, Virginia, and Georgia. And then the last day was Tennessee.
Wow. Wow.
Oh. I was like,
So
wait,
I have before
Yeah.
before we close with you, Nadine, I have one more question for you.
Mhm.
How do y'all find the people? How do you decide who gets some? How are you finding your people?
So we've been relying on, like I said, like the fire chief, ministers, they know their people. Most of those people know their communities. If we can come across others, we'll work with anybody. We don't have a problem working with anybody. We have come across some evildoers, and we remove them immediately. We're not stupid. So you can fool, for so long, but you're not going to get away with things. So if you have a pure heart, we're going to work with you. And you can find us, like I said, if you follow us on Facebook, it's FQXHOLE Foundation. Yep. Foxhole Foundation with a Q. And then our website is, again, it's foxholefoundation.org. And there's a donate button right on there. That's where you can sign up if you want to be a volunteer. All kinds of different things in there. Gives you information, shows you videos and pictures, and you can ask questions. Anybody who reaches out, I give my personal phone number to anybody. I'm trying to now organize phone numbers, names, and trying to put faces with names, because I don't know these people, but I'm not going to not stay in contact, so I give my personal phone number out. I tell them they can contact me at any time if they need anything. Jeff's the same way. I think even Deirdre's she's starting to get a list, of her own as well.
I have WNC next to him.
Yeah. So it's like, we're trying to, keep them as organized as we can. It's a little overwhelming at first, but, we just want people to know that we're here for them, that there is hope, and we're going to do everything in our power to help them. But again, we can't help them if you don't help us help them. We're not asking you to be there in person. We're willing to do the work. We're willing to take the time. We're willing to organize. We're willing to drive down whatever is necessary. But it does take money. So that's we're just asking, look into us. I tell people all the time, we're very transparent. You can look into me. I don't have anything to hide. None of us do, so look into any one of us. And, and if your heart's telling you to donate to us, it will go to where it's supposed to go.
Well, that's awesome. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely have you back and give us some updates. And I definitely want to help y'all any way that I can. So anything you want to say in closing?
Well, just pretty much, people need to start reconnecting again their hearts to other people instead of just thinking about yourself. When you open yourself up to others, you're blessed. I promise you, you will be blessed. It's a good feeling to know that you help someone. When you look in these people's eyes, it'll change your life, so if you do have the opportunity, to want to do something, boots on the ground, and meet these people and see with your own eyes, I suggest you do it. It will change you forever.
So, firsthand, something we always say is nobody's coming to save you. The government's not coming to save you. And that firsthand. So we have to do that for each other.
Yes.
Well, I'm proud to know you, proud to call you a friend. And I think what y'all are doing is amazing. And we're going to help any way that we can.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We'll have you back. Thank you for coming. I know it's late over there on the East Coast. So.
All right. Thanks so much.
Take care. All right.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
All right, Dee. So it's
amazing. They are literally.
Oh, there are. I'm so glad that you hooked up with them and are part of them now, and I think that's great. So tell us what the fuck is going on over there. It's I know I really wanted her to tell us about the foundation so people would know about them and know what they're about and what they're doing, so they could give. But you just came from there Tell us what you saw and what is still going on. It's unbelievable that this is still
And we
going
should definitely have her back because she has stories too. And
on.
they're
Oh, no, I
really
want to have her back. I wanted to get that out because I know there's people when they hear, they want to, that's the kind of people I want to give to. And there's a lot of people like me.
Yeah, like they literally do everything on their own dime. And every single bit of that has gone to North Carolina, like cash in hand to North Carolina. That's why I showed those videos because it make you emotional.
Yeah.
But I don't know where to begin. Everything is
How long
still
were you there?
exactly where the river left it, which is
Yeah, those pictures you sent me.
unbelievable.
So how long were you there?
I was there from, oh gosh, when was I there? Friday? Yeah, Black Friday. Friday to Wednesday.
Wednesday. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what all did you do this time?
So I went with them and took pictures of everything. I took that video of her and the girl.
So you have become their website and their media. You're doing that for them now.
Yep.
Okay.
Just because, like, I mean, it's needed, especially to show things like that. I'll put that picture back up because this one's the best one, honestly. This is what North Carolina still looks like 70 plus days later. This is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I'll apologize right now. I may get emotional because some of this is very, very tough. It's not easy doing these things at all.
Nope.
But North Carolina should not look like this. There are not enough volunteers. The National Guard is posting pictures. And if you look at those pictures, they're in short sleeves and the trees in the background are green. Those pictures are not recent at all. They can't be. So we saw one military vehicle and we were all over the mountains, all over. And especially my drive home actually took me through Tennessee. I didn't even realize how destroyed Tennessee is. Tennessee is really bad too. Newport, Tennessee and Bridgeton, Tennessee, I think it was. Really bad. So I drove through everything. The military is not there. I barely even saw a cop the whole time. And FEMA, the only reason they're there is to harass people. So that will bring me into this story is we met with this one lady. And again, I apologize if I get emotional because this is a horrific story. So she was in Relief, North Carolina. Relief, North Carolina was obliterated. There are very few surviving people from that town. I know that on one street of houses, there was only 2 surviving people. So her daughter and her son-in-law were both swept away. Thankfully, the granddaughter was at the other set of grandparents' house. I don't know why, but thank God she was. So she is still alive, but she does not have parents anymore. The son-in-law's body was found in Irwin, Tennessee, which was, I think she said, 35 miles from where Relief, North Carolina is. If that tells you anything about how difficult it is going to be to find these bodies. And there are still teams.
They could be recovering bodies for a year.
I mean, if they
recover them.
parts.
If they recover, yeah.
Yeah. And they have not found her daughter's body. She said she's just now coming to terms with that's probably not going to happen. Because, like I said, that scope is very. I mean, there's bones under rubble. The things that this water did are literally unbelievable. That water could ever do damage the way that it did.
Yeah, unless you've been through that, you don't realize the power of water, D.
Yeah.
Water it's the most powerful. It is the most devastating and powerful thing there is.
Yeah, like I was listening to this one guy talk, and he was saying, like, people are crushed into sand. Like, this sand could be somebody. And that's why, like, cadaver dogs are picking up on certain spots, but there's actually nothing there.
Mhm.
Because it may be like little pieces. So yes, there are still cadaver dogs going through the rivers, and I'm not sure why the news ever said that everybody missing was found, because that is not true at all. Like, not even the slightest bit true.
They lie about everything. So
Yeah, so that happened, and so the grandparents or the parents of the daughter whose body has not been found, they lost everything too. They have no house, nothing. Yep. So FEMA came in. Now I have questions about this because I don't know how FEMA is finding these people. Because they put a camper on their uncle's land, which has been in their family for 65 years, meaning the uncle has owned this land for 65 years. Okay. FEMA came in and said that they have 180 days to get the camper off the land. They cannot live in a camper. They can live in a tent, or they can live in a trailer. And I said, what? So you can live in a tent, you can live in a trailer, and there can be homeless people all over Asheville, and that's perfectly fine. That meets codes, because these apparently campers don't meet codes.
well, code's out the window in this kind of situation.
That's I have more to say about that too. Because apparently you have to have buildings that are secured to the ground, which, as we can see in this flood, it didn't matter if buildings were secured to the ground. They're gone, wiped clean off foundations. So, and also there's RV parks all over the place where you can literally rent slots for however long you want to. But now FEMA's coming in telling you you can't put a camper on your land. Since when? Like, this does not make sense. So I asked her, I said, how many people is it? Like, is it one person coming in and telling this? Because if that was me, I'd tell them to kick rocks and get off my property for trespassing. And she said, oh no, it's a lot of people. She said, when FEMA's coming, they have black SUVs, black vans, black cars, dressed in all black, and they come in like the mafia. And I'm like, why?
I've never seen that or heard anything like that.
I have it all on recording. And I believe it. They are.
No, I believe it. I've just
people.
never seen anything like that.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I do not. What's going on there is so sinister. It's so sinister and evil what they are doing to these people. This is a woman who has lost literally everything. Lost her home, lost her daughter's home, lost her daughter, lost her son-in-law. Everything she's ever had is gone. She said the only thing that is keeping her going is that 10-year-old little girl who has nothing. and she's going through a custody battle with the other grandparents because if you have a child, you can get a house built faster and you can get more FEMA assistance. So the other set of grandparents are taking her to court saying that the mom abandoned her child. If that tells you anything about what these people are going through, it's sick. It is absolutely sickening.
Greed will do crazy things to people, D.
I would love to know what the difference is too. I don't know. But again, this is not the only instance of this. This is the only instance where like 100. So we said, okay, on day 181, we'll all go there.
Yeah.
We'll all go camp our asses right there and they can remove every single one of us because you know what? It is time for us to start standing up for these people. It is horrifying what they are doing to these people. They're trying to kill them. That's what they're doing. And the lady even said, she said they want this land. And, we've heard that on TikTok and stuff and whatever. Yeah. But she said, no, we're born and raised knowing that they want this land. That's why we live where we live away from everybody because we know that the government wants this land. It has the richest minerals in the world that we're sitting on. It's quartz and lithium is what she said. And there's gold in the rivers. And hearing that, I 100% believe it because I cannot come up with any other reason of why they're doing what they're doing to these people. It doesn't make any sense.
So tell us, our listeners, because I'm hoping that anybody that listens to this does consider giving to Foxhole. You spend some time with them, and I know the answer already. This is a softball. What is your experience with them? And they are legit as it appears to be.
Oh yeah, I literally stayed in a house with a bunch of strangers, which when my friend asked me that, I was like, no, and I was like, oh, I guess I haven't actually physically met them. So yes. But they're not strangers to me. They're family to me. Like they literally I just can't even like tell you how amazing they are. I can't even.
If you had a bunch of money you didn't know what to do with, you had that much money, who would you give it to? You'd give it to Fox.
100%.
Because you know where it's going.
110%. I mean, just talking to Nadine, you can see her heart.
Oh, yeah. I
that is one of the most selfless people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Just getting to spend those few days with her, and the one day it was just. I forget why it was just us. I think that's when they went to Tennessee, but it was just us, and we sat there and talked for hours and hours and hours, and they're just family. I don't know, and that's how they treat everybody. Like when we went to those people, Nadine knew, like Jordan and everything. They sat there and talked like friends and everything. That's how they treat everyone. Well, nothing was weird. Nothing was. I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Like, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's so weird. It's weird to other people. It's not weird to me. But, yeah, they're incredible, and I'm so blessed to have come across people like that in my life.
You plan on not? I mean, I know not in the immediate future. You plan on going back?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I told the one lady, I said, we will be going back until you guys tell us you don't need help.
Yeah.
Because, and I also want to talk about this really quick with the hotels. I don't know how much time.
Yeah. Tell us about the hotel situation.
So we found a woman on Facebook who drove up from Charleston, was picking up homeless people on the streets in Asheville and getting them into shelters. This one lady, Lisa, she is so sweet. She lost her whole house in Swannanoa. She had been living on the streets in Asheville because, along with her house, she lost her car, all of her documents, everything. She literally had the clothes on her back, and her son. So, FEMA makes everything hell. So they have been playing back and forth with FEMA. So in this meantime, she's been living on the streets in Asheville because she wants to be near FEMA. And I wish we had all the money in the world to just forget about FEMA. Like, get away from these people.
Yeah.
They're literally going to play games with you. And then at the end, they're going to be like, oh, you're denied. That's what they're doing to her anyway. So I got her over to them. I told this girl, Jasmine, that was helping. I said, hey, let us help. Let's try to get her in a hotel or something. So we worked really hard with Jasmine. She's another amazing soul that, again, came from Charleston to just do this. And we were able, okay, so I'm calling around hotels in Asheville. And I get to talking to this one. I'm getting pricing and everything. Best Western wanted $1,200 for a week. Best Western. Who's paying $1,200 for a week at Best Western? No.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then I call Downtown Inn and Suites. And let me just make sure I have all their information, because if you're listening, feel free to bombard them with reviews, call them, show up there if you feel the need to.
I'm sure you've given them some reviews.
Oh, there's absolutely. So that is Downtown Inn and Suites in Asheville, 120 Patton Avenue. I call them and I say, hey, we're a nonprofit organization. We want to, we're helping this lady get in a hotel. She's lost everything in Swannanoa. She's terrified of freezing to death because the lady was terrified of freezing to death. So, the lady said, oh, we don't book to locals. I said, well, she's not a local. She's from Swannanoa. She said, locals within 75 miles. So 75 miles. I looked this up.
What's the rationale for that?
Huh?
What's their reasoning for that? They're leaving it
didn't-
open. They can't be having a bunch of tourists coming right now.
Exactly. I
I know
think there's
Asheville's a big
something else
tourist area,
behind
but
it. So 75 miles from Asheville is Gastonia, North Carolina, Anderson, South Carolina, Tallulah Falls, South Carolina, Bristol, Tennessee. So if you live, I pulled up a little map. If you live anywhere in here, you're not getting a room at Downtown Inn and Suites because you're too close to them.
yeah, that's like me. I'm not much more than 75 miles from Houston, Texas. So that would be like somebody in Houston saying that I'm local.
Yep. So I said, okay, well, we're not local. She said, well, the person that's staying here would be local. I think there's something else behind that, to be honest. I'm just trying
to figure out. I don't understand.
They don't want them to know about.
There's something going on that it doesn't make sense. These businesses have been through a lot of devastation too. They should be begging for people.
They're asylum cities too. So if that tells you anything.
Got you. No, that
so we went online. Jeff went online, booked her at the what was it? Extended Stay America, Asheville Tunnel Road, 6 Kennelsworth Knoll, Asheville, North Carolina. There's the address. We got her a room there. Okay, she shows up to get the room, and they say, nope, you can't stay here because your son doesn't have an ID.
All those illegals
Since
that
when
they
does
let-
everybody that's staying there have to have an ID?
Yeah. Yeah. You only have
She
to have
said-
an ID if you're an American citizen.
So I am literally livid. Okay. Because this is now the next day. Because she had a whole unfortunate series of events that happened over the night, and she ended up there in the morning, and then they tell her, nope. So I call, and I am talking just like I am right now, and I say, so when someone is about to die in a flood, y'all are probably familiar with Hurricane Helene and that you guys are a declared disaster area. So when someone is escaping death in a flood, like a wall of water coming at you, probably the last thing that you're worried about getting is your ID. So these people don't have documents, and you guys are saying that they can't stay there because she has an ID, but her son doesn't have an ID. And I said, am I getting this correct? And she said, let me let you talk to the manager. I said, all right, let's Karen it up. I'm absolutely going to be a Karen with a capital K. So I talked to the manager. I say the exact same thing. And she said, yes, ma'am, that's correct. Everybody that stays in this hotel has to have an ID for safety. And that is standard protocol of all hotels. I said, no, it's absolutely not, because I have stayed in probably up to 100 hotels in my lifetime, and I've never heard that. I mean, a lot of hotels, you don't even have to have an ID. Like,
Yeah, if I'm not the person with the name on the room, I've never been asked for an ID.
exactly.
So there's
She
a
said, well,
reason
then
they don't want.
that's
There's a
our
reason they
policy.
don't want these people in their hotel.
Right.
There's something.
I said, you know that this is a declared disaster area. She said, I live in the declared disaster area. I said, so you live here knowing how bad it is here, and
Yeah.
you are so worried about some BS policies that you're just going to kick them back out on the streets when this lady is terrified of freezing to death. And she said, well, that's our policy. I said, well, you are a disgusting, evil person. And I really, honestly, like, I do not know how these people sleep at night denying someone shelter like that.
Yeah. When y'all weren't asking for free. Let's clear that up.
What?
Y'all weren't asking for free.
No, we
Y'all had money. Y'all had
this one was
money.
paid for.
That's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. So then I call, so me, Jasmine, Nadine, we're all back to the drawing board, and Jasmine's trying to find somewhere. She says Quality Inn. So I call Quality Inn. Quality Inn says they also don't book to locals. So there are all these hotels in Asheville so these locals have these businesses that will not do business with locals. What?
I'm trying to figure out. I can't even think of a reason why. The only thing I can think of is, Asheville is a tourist area. I don't think a lot of people are coming to Asheville right now for tourism. So I don't get it. I don't get it.
They have to be being paid off somewhere. That's the only thing I can think of. If they're an asylum city, I think.
Were they saying they were full? Were they saying they didn't have rooms?
No, they just said we don't book to locals. And I'm like,
well,
these people have lost everything. Everything.
But wait, D. And Asheville is a very well-known liberal city, right?
Yeah.
Aren't the liberals the party? And we're gonna I'm gonna somehow turn political. Isn't the liberals the party of inclusiveness and helps everybody and why? What about the people who are, it's not funny, but they're not. They are a horrible, evil group of fucking people. Liberals are fucking terrible. They don't care about anything but their agenda, and that approves it right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the most liberal cities in the United States, and they're denying people who are in danger. I mean, this is just dire
life and death.
needs, life and death situations, and they're denying them shelter. So, boy, y'all are really the party for helping people.
And I don't
Open
want
joy,
to
open joy.
say-
Yeah.
I don't want to put other people in that category, but the government in that city clearly doesn't give a shit.
No.
The people who have these policies that you can break policies. Okay,
That-
let's be so real about
People
that.
hide
You
behind,
can
I've
break
seen that my
policies.
whole life career. People hide behind policies when they don't know what to fucking say. They didn't have an answer for you because there's no answer for that. So they just go by, well, that's our policy. Well, fuck you, say. Go fuck yourself.
I think there's people staying in those hotels because they have to be making money somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's no tourists and there's not
Yeah.
people locals staying in there, then because disasters, I've worked disasters. Usually hotels open their doors at discounted rates for victims. That's what I've always seen.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
There is something so sinister
There's something going on,
behind
because I'm
this.
going to tell you, that's not how it is here when we have something. That's not, it's just, that's terrible. So, we're going to continue talking about this, and hopefully we can, we're doing this tonight on a Sunday because we wanted to get the word out. Wanted to, you just got back. We wanted to, start talking about it, but I still, if you're good, I want to still do our regular plan on Wednesday, and let's continue on this Wednesday if we can. Let's continue on. Let's talk more about, because I know you have a lot more stories. You have a lot more to talk about. So let's do a continuation of tonight then.
Yeah. But I do just want to kind of bounce off what Nadine said is there is no excuse to not help. There really is not. And I'm all the volunteers. I won't just say me because I feel like I'm doing the bare minimum, but all the volunteers that are on the ground are fucking exhausted. I mean, Jeff and all them, everybody is exhausted because there's not enough hands and people. Everybody's got an excuse. Excuses are like assholes. Everybody has one. I mean, I have a friend, she's 22, I think. Caroline, if you're listening, she has donated every single time. She does not have a lot, okay? Every single time she's donated, whether it be $20, I think $50, whatever. She has found a way to do it. And it's not about money. Even if you spend an hour on social media going through some of the local pages saying, here's a need that I may know a group on the ground that I can get this over to.
Mm-hmm.
Just scout on the local pages.
Yeah.
20 minutes.
There's a lot of different ways to help people.
Find the local local small businesses too, because I love that I actually came up with this idea to kind of promote them on my platforms, and they have messaged me, and it's become a really personal experience.
Is it working? Because I've seen your videos on that. Is it working?
Yeah.
Good.
But it's become really personal because some of them have personally reached out to me. I've talked with them, and seeing the heart and souls these people pour into these small businesses it made me emotional this morning, honestly, because it is heartbreaking that these people have lost these businesses that are just so beautiful. They're still trying to sell online. The one lady told me that she is solely relying on what she can sell online to make it. And, we need to stop giving money to these big corporate businesses and start finding the small businesses that are hurting all small businesses have been hurt
Yeah.
by this economy.
Yep.
There's no reason there is no reason to not participate in something like this. Find a small business in Western North Carolina and support them because they need it desperately. Because the one lady, like I said, she lost everything and she is solely relying on her business to keep going and feed her. I think she had 3 children. So there's so many ways to help, and there's just no excuse to not help.
For people that to close this out, Dee, so for people that weren't listening when Nadine was here, how can they give? If they want to give to the Foxhole Foundation, how can they give?
You can go to foxholefoundation.org. I think you put it in the description.
Mm-hmm.
And it's through Square. They take all cards, Cash App, all that through there. And yeah.
Okay, well let's try to come back Wednesday and talk about it some more. And I know you got plenty more stories, and I'm so glad that you brought Nadine, and I'm so proud of what the work that you're doing when you definitely didn't have to, and that says a lot about who you are. So I'm proud to know you and proud to be your friend. So let's continue this. Like I said, let's continue this Wednesday. Until then, so if anybody's wondering what I've been doing with this little bag, I smashed my thumb really bad with a hammer today, and I'm having to put ice on it. I've never done anything so stupid in my life. So that's what all this shuffling around, if you heard this noise and the clacking of the ice. But until next time, McGee and Looney are out.
Bye, y'all.